We cross live now to our reporter Athi Mtongana, who is monitoring the situation at different Clicks stores at the back of the court interdict and the latest decision by Clicks to pull all TRESemmé products from its shelves. Athi, as it stands now, we know that the court has accepted the interdict and that the EFF is no longer allowed to interfere with the business of Clicks and not to interfere with the employees of Clicks. What is the current situation? Has that dented the momentum for the EFF or not?
A very good afternoon to you, Tammy. One thing is for certain, the economic freedom fighters, regardless of the court interdict that was granted at the Gauteng High Court to prevent any member of the EFF from intimidating and threatening customers as well as the staff members at Clicks outlets, they say that they will still continue with their protest, and that's what we've seen, because they claim they have not been interdicted against protesting, and they have been dismissing claims of threatening staff members as well as customers. Right now we are literally at another Clicks where they literally just left after the closure of this particular Clicks close to Durbanville. So now we've seen the EFF move through the Cape Metro, making sure that all the Clicks stores that were opened are closed. Now, of course, the latest being that Clicks suspending those involved in publishing that very offensive advertisement, and also subsequently news coming in that the senior executive who was also responsible for this advert has also resigned, and Clicks also coming out to say that they have accepted, the CEO saying they've accepted that resignation. And when you mentioned that Clicks has now resolved to remove and delist all TRESemmé products at its outlets, it has now come out to say that to fill that gap, Tammy, they will be making sure that they source local hair care products to ensure that they really get involved in diversifying their hair care products at all their outlets throughout the country. But it's interesting, Tammy, that we've been speaking to the EFF and all other parties that have been expressing their views around this issue, but we haven't spoken to the workers, which is what I'm going to do right now. Remember, when the EFF arrives at any Clicks outlet, what they do is ask the staff members to leave. Now, there is a Clicks staff member here who was expressing his view about this whole entire incident. You've been seeing what's happening, and you are someone that actually works at Clicks. So when this happened, what came to your mind?
Yeah, basically, I just feel I respect the whole thing that they have a peaceful protest. But in fact, in life, as I thought, everyone makes mistakes. And if you make a mistake, you have to pay for it in certain ways. But in this way, I mean, it's too harsh on everyone. It's not on just on each color, on a specific color, but it's on everyone. It's harsh. Because what they also don't know, the most, how can I say, intensity, the people that shopping the most at Clicks is women. Which also we cater mostly for women than men, but also shows that we care about women as well in this country.
How have these protests by the EFF affected the Clicks workers? Because what we've seen throughout the outlets is they get there, they ask the staff members to leave. How has that affected you, and what is the conversation amongst the Clicks staff members?
I can say the people are terrified. When they see the red shirt coming towards the Clicks, they feel like, hey, here comes the gangsters. All the time, here comes the gangsters. And then everybody starts running to the back. And you as a manager, you have to calm everyone down to say they're going to do nothing, they're going to do nothing. So yeah, everybody's terrified. All the workers that works for Clicks, if they see these people, they think of them as gangsters, so to say.
And looking at how it happened today, what is your view in the way they have been conducting themselves?
I think the way they got here was respectful, but I mean, to close a store means there is someone going home tonight with a day's money that he lost and is living also in the Kazi. He's also depending on each day's money. which also contributes to poverty.
So you're saying the closure of cliques around the country has affected the staff members financially?
You can say that. And it's not because of cliques itself, it's because of the protests of the EFF.
And do you feel that the cliques senior management has been able to communicate direction to the lower staff on what to do?
Yes, we had a lot of communication, and I think everybody, we took it in and we applied it very well. So as you can see, the store is closed and everybody must go home.
When were you told to come back to work?
Not really, but as I read in the news, they're going to protest till Saturday. So basically, that's a week's money loss for the person who's depending on this income. And that at the end of the month, if he gets it, he will be lucky. If he didn't get it, and then there's a week's poverty that's like, he's going to feel like the pressure, basically. And it also adds to the lockdown as well, where you can see every cent counts in this time. So I just feel it's a bit of time waster, basically, yeah, as I feel, yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah. A Clicks staff member here at a Clicks outlet close to the Durbanville area. The EFF members have just left now following the closure of this Clicks outlet. Well, Tammy, those are the sentiments of the staff members, at least here at this particular Clicks store, which has just been closed by some of the EFF members who were here. But of course, the latest coming out to be that the CEO of Clicks accepting the resignation of the senior executive who was responsible for this advertisement, and also the suspension of all those who were involved in this advert, and hearing from a Clicks staff member about how this might end up affecting them financially. So it remains to be seen whether they will actually return back tomorrow. And a lot of South Africans at this point have accepted the news of the resignation of the senior executive and the suspension of those involved in the ad. However, South Africans are still asking for Clicks to issue the names of those people who have now subsequently been suspended and the senior executive that has resigned. Tammy.
Well, thank you very much for that update, Athi. That's Athi Mtongana, who's out in Cape Town outside the Clicks store, which has been closed once again today by members of the economic freedom fighters. And, you know, Athi, when you're speaking there to the gentleman who works at Clicks, perhaps a bit of a reputational challenge for the economic freedom fighters at this point. Here they are, you know, campaigning for a cause, but what you are seeing are the sentiments of how they are being viewed as here come the gangsters, and just wondering how that is something that they are going to be tackling if this is not a situation where they're trying to do good, but in the process of trying to do good, the way in which they're going about it is ending up having some sort of a reputational, damage in their account. But from what you've been hearing on the ground and putting into perspective yesterday, the people who were there witnessing what was going on outside the Clicks stores, what were you hearing regarding how the general public who were there and who were witnessing this, how do they view this? What do they have to say?
A lot of the Clicks customers who were told to leave the Clicks outlets across the Cape metropole were very frightened, Tammy. I can just tell you, the minute they see the red shirts, as the Clicks staff member alluded to, they immediately felt very scared. And we could see how, the situation could have easily tipped over if police were not around in most of these Clicks outlets. Tammy, we have seen a strong presence of police. Police have been deployed in each of these malls, inside of these malls, to ensure that when altercations happen, that they are there to try and maintain law and order. Because you can imagine this is a racial issue. It's very contentious, and a lot of people have been reacting to it with a lot of emotions. even today, as the EFF was trying to close this particular Clicks store, which is in Durbanville. Durbanville is dominated by a lot of white people. And so when they targeted this one, they were just saying to us that they want to ensure that even the Clicks outlets at affluent areas are shut down. Their interaction on the ground, literally when they were trying to close this Clicks, was almost heated because a lot of the white people who were coming into this Clicks were very unhappy about the closure, saying they need their treatment and they didn't want to be told when to come in and when not to come in, sort of like saying they don't want to be dictated by the economic freedom fighters. A lot of engagements, a lot of verbal exchanges happening, a lot of swearing happening because, every time they see the red shirts, there would obviously be those engagements and those verbal exchange between the two parties. Obviously, people who are against what the EFF has been doing, and we also have seen people who are in favor of what the EFF has been doing, saying that systematic racism is entrenched in South Africa and will continue to happen if it is not addressed.